I'm Dr. David Hill, and today we're going to talk about milestones in your baby's development during the first year of life. Now, obviously, a ton of stuff happens in that year. The baby's brain grows tremendously, and their skills grow tremendously. When we think about infant development, we like to break it up into different categories. We think about gross motor skills, fine motor skills, communication, interpersonal skills, and problem solving, and we'll try and break that down today. One warning: don't get too stuck on any one skill. Different babies develop at different rates, and even though big sister or the neighbor's kid may be doing something your child is not, don't sweat it too much. If you get real concerns, talk to your doctor and they can do developmental testing. So, let's think first of all about gross motor skills. At birth, a baby may or may not be able to lift his or her chin up a little bit when he's lying on his tummy, and that's about all. But by 2 months, he's going to get his head way up and even a little bit of his chest. At 4 months, many babies can roll from their fronts to their backs, although now that babies sleep on their backs, that's less common than it used to be. At 6 months, a baby can probably hold himself in a sitting position, at least briefly, although he may prop himself forward on his hands. By 9 months, that baby is pulling up on the furniture, cruising around, and at 12 months, not all babies are walking, but they're probably taking some preliminary steps like standing on their own or stepping 1 or 2 steps before they fall down. When we think about fine motor skills, we begin with the hands clenched in fists, but by 2 months of age, those hands are relaxed at least as often as they're fisted. At 4 months, your baby is going to reach out for things that he or she sees that they want, but they're not going to be able to drop those objects until 12 months of age voluntarily. At 6 months, they're picking up small items using a raking grasp with the entire hand, but by 9 months, they're probably using the beginnings of a pincher grasp, and so they can feed themselves. At 12 months again, they can not only pick something up, they can drop it. When we think about communication skills, obviously most of the communication you're going to get from a newborn is crying. However, even by the end of the first month of life, they're starting to make some vocal sounds. They're smiling at you at 2 months of life and laughing at 4 months, as well as turning to your voice because now they know which direction to look. At 6 months, they're making some babbling sounds. And at 9 months, they understand their name. They understand no, which is important for beginning discipline. And they are probably beginning to understand some simple commands. By 12 months, your baby's going to come when called. They've been waving bye-bye for a long time, and they're probably starting to use mama, dada, and one other word. In terms of personal, social, and problem-solving skills, again, a newborn's not doing very much except a little nonverbal communication. A 2-month-old smiles back at you when you smile at them, and a 4-month-old is going to giggle with you and laugh and play. A 6-month-old working with you is going to be starting to recognize who you are and who strangers are. They may be beginning to show some fear of people that they don't know. By 9 months, that fear is heightened, but they're able to obey some of your commands. And by 12 months, that baby is starting to become independent, still fearful of strangers, but definitely able to follow simple commands and able to interact with you in a very playful way, even imitating your household activities. So, to review, when we think of infant development, we break it down into gross motor, fine motor, communication, and personal, social, and problem-solving skills. And remember, don't get too caught up in any one skill. It's the whole group that counts. I'm David Hill.